Hey everyone, welcome to TGC's Sky Livestream, and our third live stream that we've done since the game went live, which means that it's 2 weeks since the game came out on iOS. We've had, I think we're verging on a couple of million players download the game now, so it's been a very busy time for us as we've been maintaining the game and responding to bugs and updating having the season run. So we're here today to answer any questions you might have about how everything's going, talk about the future of Sky, and I have a special guest with me today. Scott, do you want to introduce yourself and say a little bit about what you do at TGC?
Hey, I'm Scott. I am the QA lead here at TGC. So day to day, we manage all the tests that goes on. We have a couple of different test teams that I manage across the globe, and yeah, there's no shortage of work to keep busy in this game.
How long have you been with TGC?
I've only been with TGC a very brief time. It's been the past 6 months.
Mm-hmm. So a pretty intense time to join the fray.
It was, quite a lot of work to get this done, to get everything that we've accomplished in the last 6 months released to the public was amazing how much stuff we got to.
Yeah, we are constantly getting feedback from the community and just the analytics we have on still finding tons of bugs and feeding that back to the developers. But I think Scott and his team did, in partnership with the beta community, a pretty amazing job of squashing most of the big bugs. Which for a live service product like this, which is essentially an MMO with all sorts of connectivity issues that can happen and matchmaking stuff, and it's a very complex sort of project. So Scott's role is really important. So today we're going to be playing a bit of Wasteland. Scott has played a lot of this game, being our resident QA expert. So he's going to show you a few tips for messing around with the krills and the crabs and stuff. And we're going to go and collect some spirits, and along the way, we're going to answer your questions as always. And if your question gets answered on the stream, then you will receive a few little stickers in this cool little sticker pack. We're expanding our inventory of Sky goodies, and you'll also get a pack of candles awarded to your account in the game. So jump on the Twitch stream, type us a question in chat, and they'll be fed through to me by our lovely community manager, Chris, and then we'll answer the ones that we can get to. Sound all right?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So we're booting up at home. If people want to come and play along with us, then you can join us in the Wastelands social area. So Scott's going to jump over there.
All right, we'll head into Wasteland.
Would you say, Scott, that this has been one of the more difficult levels to test?
This only second to Storm.
Yeah.
Storm was quite a feat to get tested. There's a lot of things going on in Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And the game just sort of exists in a different state while you're going through that whole area. So definitely, I would say Storm was the biggest challenge for testing.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. We've got a couple of people that are joining us here already in the social area. We might just... Oh, no, they're just off.
They're just off. They're doing
gone.
Their thing.
They're having a grand old time.
I'll just hang out here by the fireplace.
Okay, so we've already got our first question from the stream. So June asks, what was the QA team's process leading up to the beta update?
That depends on which beta update we're talking about, but we were definitely looking closely at the friendship features, and we were looking very closely at in-app purchases, making sure that all that stuff was usable and functional. And of course, all the quests and all the candles and all the Darkstone and all the Adventure Pass content, those were all extremely important items to be keeping track of leading up to the release of the next beta.
So this is such a huge game. There's so many different states that the world can be in, and multiple loops through the core arc and everything. How does the QA team even do it? How do you actually test you can't possibly test every single situation. So what's like your best approach to that?
Yeah, there's certainly risk involved in all the testing that's going on. It's really just very compartmentalized day by day. We'll investigate on a specific system for a day or 2 or 3 before we are satisfied with that we've captured all the bugs in that system, and we'll move on to the next system. There's a lot of moving parts to keep track of. Yeah, that's pretty much our process.
Do you guys have like checklists that you go through?
Oh yeah, we have lots of checklists. We've developed many test cases that are that we regress to make sure they don't happen again.
Because that's a big problem, right? Like a lot of the time you squash one bug and then your solution to that one bug then like causes other issues to come up elsewhere. So every test cycle we need to go through and do all this stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's bugs that are preventing us from doing testing further down the pipe. So as soon as that gets fixed, we can further our testing efforts to find even more bugs that we couldn't even track down prior.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Sweet. We got some people we can make friends with and jump in.
Are these people waiting to chat with us?
In case you can't see on the stream, we're wearing a big afro and a green cape, so if you spot someone like us. We do have, as we've said in the last streams, it's a little more difficult to match with specific people now because we have, up to 10,000 people playing at any one time, so the chances of us being able to get in the same room are a little lower. Obviously, that's great news though for the game in general, and that like there's always somebody around if you want to do multiplayer quests. And we've got a ton more questions. Oh, this is a good one. Can we purchase Scott's beard as a cosmetic?
50 hearts.
Yeah, I think that would have to be 50 or 60 hearts at least.
Uh-huh.
This was not an easy grow.
Would you have to sign a release or something? Probably.
Before
You'd
I got
get like
hired- before
you
I
get
got
like
hired, yeah.
get like royalties.
That would be nice.
Scott gets a cent for every person that buys the Scott beard.
I'm into it. Let's put
Cool.
the beard in.
Okay. That's a great one. Do you want to just rip into the level, Scott, and some other people might be able to find us as we go in there? We're really keen to show off some of Scott's flying abilities and cruel abilities at the moment. We know some people are a little bit scared of Wasteland. It's a intimidating level. There's some tough challenges in it, especially the Adventure Pass quest this season is very tough. We know we've got a lot of improvements that we can make on what we call the carryable type of quest. I can probably talk about that actually at some point when we get to that and how we're going to try and make that better. But yeah, it's just going to be like fun to sort of show some of the better strategies around dealing with some of those more difficult parts of the game. Okay, from Shira, Scott, what's your favorite bug from the history of the game?
My favorite bug from the history of the game? I would have to admit that it was a bug that a community player found, and it was the 40-second storm run.
The 40-second storm run.
The 40-second storm run, yeah. It was pretty incredible stuff. They were able to exploit the table and something with the wind that just carries you through that level faster than any player is able to run or fly. And watching the video of this player who uncovered this and performed it was just super entertaining.
Cool. When you say the 40-second storm run, does that mean like there was a 40-second time that they'd gone through storm and it unearthed some strange behavior about it being particularly that many times?
So it was right in the second half of storm is where they started it. So they just blazed through right when the wind picks up and it really starts knocking all your stars out. They were able to crush through that in like 40 seconds.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I follow. I thought you were meaning like you got through storm in 40 seconds.
Yeah, no, they got through storm
Gotcha.
in 40
I misheard
seconds.
it. I thought you're saying that there was some interesting situation where like someone had played Storm 42 times.
No.
40 seconds to get through Storm. Wow, okay, yeah, I see, I get it.
Not the 40 seconds run in Storm.
Right, yeah.
His run took him 40 seconds of time to complete.
Right.
It was incredible.
Okay, I have to look that up. I'm surprised I missed that actually. Okay, cool. Okay, we have some fantastic nicknames on our Twitch channel followers, by the way. So this guy, I'm not really even sure. I'm gonna try my best to say. Oot asks, will there be more worlds in the future? And the answer to that is you have to watch the space. But let's just say that like the whole team that built Sky is still on Sky. So we'll let you figure out, read between the lines of what we're working on there. Oh, you got friends,
Making
great.
some friends here.
Amazing.
I'm assuming these are people that are on stream with us?
They may be. They all look very enthusiastic. We get to this point in the stream where like we get this critical mass of people and it all just becomes a little bit chaotic. So this is actually going to be quite fun to go and mess around with the krill with this many people.
Yeah.
So even if you want to like hold hands with those guys and then jump into the level.
All right. Anybody want to latch on?
Yeah, we have someone asking whether how to join us, and the only way at the moment really is just to go into the Wasteland social area and kind of cross your fingers and hope that we're going to be joined in the same game. We are doing, if we were all friends already, then we could use the QR code system, so you can invite your friends from real life using a QR code in the settings menu or in the friend constellation. Then once you're friends, you can teleport to them. So that's the best way to usually find your friends when you're already, when you're both online. And while you're playing the game, you actually will get a notification that your friend has come online. And so you can jump back to home space, you can go onto the constellation, and then you can tap on their star, and it's going to have a little circling sort of point of light around it to indicate that they are currently online. If you tap on them, you'll have the ability to teleport.
All right, so
we do it.
I've got a pretty good group of people
Amazing.
in tow here. Got another player. Are we not able to get this guy?
All right.
Let's see, come on. So, if I offer you my hand, take it and I will lead you guys through.
That's going to be fun.
Otherwise, you can follow along. All right. Everyone ready? Looks like. Let's get
I
this
think
guy
they're trying
in
to
our group.
connect. Oh, someone's just causing trouble.
So much love.
Let me see if I can just, there we go. While you get that group together, I will see if I can answer another question from here. Okay, Swifty X Phoenix asks for Tim. Will the hearts and candle system be changed in any way? A lot of players have felt some high-end cosmetics cost a little too much, and we also have to save around 25 hearts for every season to purchase the final cosmetic in a seasonal spirits upgrade tree. We've been talking about this a lot. So the live team have been watching like how players' progress has been going through the whole game and how quickly they've been collecting hearts and what they've been spending it on. So we have data on all that stuff and we pay really close attention to it, and we kind of marry that with the sentiment we get back from the players and look at, is this the type of experience that we intended our players to have? And I suppose one attention that's happening within the economy at the moment is that we have designed like this whole core game, the 6 lands and the 48 odd spirits, to be played and unlocked over the course of like 3 to 6 months, and that would still require like daily playing every day. But there is an impulse from someone who's really dedicated to a game, like to just try and finish it, and to finish it as quickly as possible. Is that like completion is part of our brain, and unfortunately that means that like it kind of ends up inspiring some behavior which is a little more kind of gamery and like completionist and economy based and reward based and I suppose like consumerist than we would have originally liked. And it's not to say that there aren't really nice parts of the economy. People love trading hearts. They love getting hearts. They love the cosmetics that they get. But there is that sort of tension of just striving to just get more stuff. And that's something which we are looking at very closely. And we're trying to come up with some ways that we can tweak the system so that there doesn't feel like there's quite that much of a sort of consumerist pull on the social or respect or karma part of the game. And so we wonder whether maybe we tied the collectible aspect a little bit too closely to the karma aspect. And we don't have a solution for it now, but I can promise that this is stuff that we are very much listening to and experiencing ourselves, and now experiencing it on another scale, because we've had millions of people start this whole thing from scratch. So we have so much more data, we have so much more insight, and this is just the first cut of the economy, the first cut of the game. There's going to be all sorts of new stuff coming in, and there are no sacred cows. That can seem quite scary as well if you don't want to change things too much. But I think we have a pretty solid idea of what our core principles are and core values are, and what we want the game to feel like day to day. And we do know that we want it to feel a bit more than just chasing the next cosmetic. So yeah, that's about as much insight as I can probably give for now. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some stuff coming in the next couple of months, which will make that whole system just feel a bit better.
So I'm not sure how many players have been able to make it on top of these pillars, but there is a shiny boy up there for us.
Let's go and get it. Scott, do you want to talk us through some of your pro tips for Wasteland while you're playing with these guys? And
well, I know the krill seem scary, but they're not as scary as they look. Their pathing is very random, so even if you do your best to watch out for them, there's a very high chance that they would still end up attacking you, even if you thought they were heading the other direction. They can change direction pretty quick. Let's start over here. I don't know why I didn't start over here. Come on, guys. I'm not really showing off my flying skills very good today. I would say the crabs certainly aren't as dangerous as they feel. They don't even really knock wing buffs out of you, as far as I know. But they do take your energy down, and that's not good.
there was a point when we were playing around with the balancing that the crabs did knock wing buffs out of you, and we're like, yeah, that feels a little bit too much.
It was pretty brutal, yeah.
Yeah.
And the krill used to knock like 3 wing buffs out at a time, so what we play with today is actually pretty friendly.
Nikra asks, for you, Scott, which part of the QA process do you think users would find most surprising?
That's a really good question. The most surprising? Might be the scale of the team and the number of players that we were able to accomplish the testing with. Mm-hmm. On the day shift, there was 5 guys, and on the night shift, there was 3 guys. So there was a lot of challenges in making sure we could get all the coverage we needed in this game with the limited resources that we had, which is where the beta community was super valuable in getting the server filled up and reporting on sync issues and connectivity issues that were happening in a larger scale.
Cool. And it's our outsourced team in Romania.
Yes.
Right, that's what they are, yeah.
Yeah. That's Amber is the outsourced group.
So Scott's the lead here in Santa Monica, California, and then the other guys work in Romania overnight for us. So their shift starts at 11 p.m. our time.
That's correct.
So we hand the build over to them at the end of our workday. Well, hopefully the end of our workdays before then, but routinely it did go that late towards the later parts of development and later. But they would then get to test it overnight, so we'd come in first thing in the morning, their shifts finishes at 7 a.m. our time, and then we'd have a whole bunch of bugs to fix. Okay, I'll see if I can answer a couple more questions while you go and find a krill to mess with or some other spirits to do. Okay.
If anybody wants to do the seasonal quest today, I can help you walk through that. The more players we have, the easier that is, and the safer we are.
Which one?
The seasonal quest.
Which one of the seasonal? Oh, the seasonal. I see. Yeah.
Because
it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one to do on live stream.
It's really tough.
Just throw yourself in there. The game on. Okay, Rowan Messies one says, "Can you please buy Scott and the whole team that worked on the game a beer, please?"
Thank you.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be buying the beers or Chris is supposed to. Whoever is buying the beers, yes. I'm totally open to these beers being bought and consumed. It's Friday, so we have team drinks and what we call chip time at the end of the day on Friday, where we gather around and eat a whole bunch of food which is not good for us, and drink a beer and sort of toast the accomplishments of the week. So yes, absolutely. Thank you. We will cheers to you, Rome Messies. Okay, so a QA question. What kind of jobs are done before a new patch is released to beta players, or live players, I suppose, as well?
Well, pretty much everything needs to be tested before we release it to the public.
Mm-hmm.
There's very little areas that we're able to leave untouched before we release. So it's mostly functional testing. We don't have any automation in place for this game just because of the nature of the game and the continued change in design that we're doing on a day-to-day basis just doesn't lend itself to automation.
That was actually Winterfox question. Do we have any automated tests, or do we have to test everything by hand? And it is
pretty much all handcrafted. Yeah, there's no automation from the QA end. It's an incredibly extensive process, which is why we have to kind of chunk it out every day or every couple days, where we're testing certain features that have been worked on and finding as many bugs as we can, reporting them in the most detailed way we can, and hopefully getting them resolved.
Cool. Panabu asks, what were some of the most stubborn bugs in Wasteland to squash?
I think it was more about the balance of the level and how many krill were going to be there, how much damage they were doing, how long it takes them to track you and attack you. I think balancing the level was the biggest challenge because a lot of bugs per se surrounding the level in question. It was just about how hard we were going to make it, or how easy we were going to make it.
Cool. Bonsier asks, will you be adding new seasons? Which, absolutely, we will. There's going to be a steady cadence of new stuff coming into the game. We're actually just working on the calendar right now through to Christmas for what's going to be coming up next. We are deep into production on our next season. That looks really exciting. I think everyone's going to love it. But they also ask, what's your favorite thing about Sky, Scott?
My favorite thing about Sky is how easy it is to just get lost and immersed in the gameplay. Testing it is one thing, and you spend all day testing it, but when I go home on the weekend after we have launched, and I was playing on the live servers with real players, this is just such a different experience, and I would spend several hours playing before I realized how much time I just lost out of my day. Yeah, it's just really easy to sink into and enjoy.
Cool. Cthulhu the Adorable, probably best name we've had today so far. Any thoughts on bringing out more types of cosmetics like shoes? Well, we actually do have a couple of pants which we made which came with some very cute shoes for a test season that we ran in beta, and they will be coming back. You might see them even on some players that were around during our limited live launch last year. But there is actually kind of a structural problem with the way that our spirits are set up at the moment, which makes it kind of difficult. We have to make a whole body for the spirit if we want to change their feet. So we're working on changing that. Probably not for next season, but the season after. Because yeah, some cool shoes would be fun.
So if you guys want a real challenge, we can try and complete this. Let's not back this. Let's back this way.
We have 1 minute to go,
Oh,
Scott.
1 minute
so
to go?
give it a crack.
All right. Well, I don't
Do
think
your
we can
best.
finish it in 1 minute.
Let's see how far we can get.
Let's give it a go.
We can stay on for a little bit longer.
I'll stick in here and help anyone finish it if they're willing to run through it with me.
Yeah, cool.
But 2 or more players is always preferred to complete this quest because one guy's going to need to carry the ball and the other guy's going to need to either distract the krill or collect your wing buff if you get knocked out by the krill. And then whoever doesn't get attacked by the krill needs to kind of go rescue the ball as well, because the cooldown on this ball is brutal.
It's pretty quick.
It's very quick.
I think the other important thing to look out for in this quest as well is that like one person should just be the ball carrier. It should just be on them, and then the other person should just stay out of their way, or just like support, distract the krill, as you said, pick up the wing buffs and stuff. Because one thing that we're not really happy with at the moment in the game is how these quests work and how the ball is like pulls between, or I should say the spirit. We call it ball internally for the development purposes, but the spirit that you're carrying along and shepherding, it's being pulled between the 2 of you at the moment, which is kind of clumsy, especially if you're playing with somebody that you don't know so well or you're not in the same room as. It's just pretty hard to coordinate. So we're looking at changes to make with that, so have more of like an authority player on the ball who's like mainly moving it forward, and then if other people are in their proximity, then they move faster, and that sort of thing. So we're going to be playing around with that, make it feel better.
Yeah.
This has been through a ton of different iterations though, this type of mechanic.
Yeah.
You doing alright so far?
Well, we're doing all right so far. We've avoided the
Adam's
krill.
laughing. So the designer of this quest is off camera laughing at how,
Hello.
difficult this is. So,
All right, so I'm going to take this hit right now because this guy's just going to get me. If this other player can step out of the way and then collect the ball before the timer runs out, good work.
nice.
Then we can continue forward. I don't mind losing the wing buff. That's okay. I'll take.
You're on
the
a
hit.
demo account. It's all right.
I'll take the hit for you guys.
Let me see if we can answer another question while that's going on. Will more cosmetics be added apart from the seasons? I think I can say yes, but we don't know what the exact plan is for it yet. But it's tied to some of the refinements in the overall economy that we were talking about before. So yeah, the core game and the seasonal content are going to be expanding and being refined alongside each other.
Also, so you guys are aware, this particular path between that last node and the next node seems to be the one where we most likely will fail. At least that's the case when I was playing alone. So I will try and stay out of the way of the ball and hopefully distract the krill for you guys. I'll just do that right over here.
They're doing a really good job.
Yeah, you guys are totally crushing it. Yeah, once we get past that, let me get this guy's spotlight on me. Over here. spot over here.
You're just soaking up all the damage with these guys. You're doing a great job.
Hey, I got my wing buff back.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there currently a cap on how many levels of wing you can have? If so, will it be raised anytime in the future? There is like a limit. It's pretty high though, because you have to collect every single spirit in the game, give them the ascended candle, level up your relationship to tier 2, and then get the rebirth.
Yep.
So it's and then collect every single spirit, golden spirit in the world.
I believe the current limit would be 7 wing buffs.
Yeah.
But it does go higher than that. There just isn't enough wing buffs in the game to go higher
You
than
guys
that.
got it? Oh no.
Alright, somebody's gonna have to take a hit here.
Nice. Brilliant.
Alright, you guys should be able to shepherd that all the way to the end now. If I can catch up, I'll get that prize too.
Nice.
Yeah, from here on out, it's pretty hard for the krill to end up attacking you. But it's possible.
Come on, guys. You can do it. Oh, man.
Keep it coming.
This is where it can get a little frustrating with the mob. So yeah, the idea that we're playing around with now is like with a mob like that, instead of it like really grinding to a halt, we're hoping that you'll just be able to, if you're all in sync, you follow the leader and you should be able to boost them and they'll just like zoom right ahead.
Oh,
So
I wanted to rescue your wing buff for you, but I didn't see where it went. Alright, let's keep going.
you can do it.
Alright.
You're out of the danger now.
Yeah, I think
Well done.
Well done.
We're able to complete the most.
It's
on
probably the
one
hardest
shot.
quest.
One shot. That's good. Yeah, this has got to be the hardest quest in the game. So.
Yeah,
I'm way impressed with the teamwork that was displayed.
that was very good.
That was textbook.
That
But it was all about the teamwork. Like, it took me 90 minutes to get this done with strangers, because nobody wanted to commit. Everybody kept running away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to stand your ground. Don't freak out.
All right.
Exactly. So
Last note is straight ahead.
Oh, Blueprinter asks a beta question. As beta players, what can we do to assist the game of Sky and its further development? It's a great question. So generally, beta will only really be out of sync with live by about a week at the moment. And the main reason we have beta still is to try and find bugs before we take the build out to live. So when you see those new builds go up, we will post up in the Facebook community and Discord community as well to say when there are builds that we are especially looking for for help on. But it'll be ones, for example, like a new adventure pass or something, or a new season. We'll drop that into beta at least a week before it goes out to live, and we just really want you guys to try and poke holes in it and figure out some edge cases. And as Scott said, we've got our team of 5 or 8 testers, and they can only really do so much. So we've got hundreds of people in the beta community, and you guys are super dedicated and just know the game so well. So it's just super helpful for you guys to play the game then and try and break it for us.
Yeah, do lots of video recording and.
the battery just died on the device.
Wow. Well,
We've lost,
still running.
Or we lost camera. We've lost camera.
Oh, we've lost camera.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's a good time to say goodbye then. Thanks for tuning in again. Amazing effort on completing the quest.
We'll just
And
wave
thanks,
goodbye
Scott.
here.
Thanks, Scott, for joining. Any parting words for our players?
I'll see you in Sky.
Cool. All right. See you next week, guys. Bye.